So this video we're going to go over performing a shin circle against butterfly hooks. Butterfly hooks in this situation is our opponent on their back, and so this can be something that we failed from the floating position itself, or as we're starting to enter into that range where we have someone controlling inside space with two hooks. There's a lot of bad videos on how to perform the shin circle, and so I want to show you guys how to properly utilize your knee and femur as a frame to keep weight down on their leg, to shut down the articulation of it, and being able to circle our leg over into the inside. All we need to do is beat one of these hooks to be able to get to the inside space. Kevin is hooking at the backs of my knees and a little bit below the knees, and he's keeping this very active. When you're drilling this with your partner, even though it's really uncomfortable, you want them to keep these hooks active so that if you fail and try and lift the leg back or something, he tracks it. So a problem that a lot of people end up doing with this is that they start the motion correct by turning their knee in, but then they end up kind of kicking the leg back, and all someone good is going to do is track that leg and constantly be activating that lever to your hip. What we're going to look to do, we're going to go over just one direction, but it works both ways if we're going to be performing to get both legs to the inside, is I'm going to look to turn my hips and chest and shoulders one direction so that I can drop my knee. What I don't want to do is be facing square and be trying to just rotate my knee in like this. What I'm doing is I'm internally rotating my hip, and I'm basically doing this. Great if I'm really flexible, but it's still not the fundamentally correct way of keeping myself in proper alignment, maximizing my force. I am going to have the hands on the knees for now. I'm going to turn myself, and I'm going to start dropping my knee down so you can see how I push Kevin's leg and his heel down towards the mat. From here, I need to keep that same pressure at all times with my knee and shin into Kevin's shin. From here, I'm going to now look to lift, but as I'm lifting, I'm still keeping the knee down. I'm not lifting everything up because you'll just track it. Here, circling to the inside and turning my knee outwards like this, that I'm going to be able to stop Kevin from being able to, one, circle his leg back in very effectively. Because if I end up just landing right here with no tension against his leg, he just puts his leg back inside. What I want is to circle and land here, so if he tries to circle back in, it's difficult. My knee is also turned out wide enough that if he tries to put in a De La Riva hook, it's not very effective. If I land like this, the hook can go in. Shutting down the De La Riva hook is turning that knee out, pointing the toes out at roughly a 45-degree angle. Try and put your hook in, Kevin. Nothing. If he manages to somehow get it, it's using a ton of flexibility, and we can see how externally rotated his hip is. It's pretty easy to shut it down at that point. So here, Kevin's got control. I'm going to turn my hips and shoulders, driving this knee down. Look at that disconnection now. The instep is no longer hooking at my knee. Now from here, quick circle. If I want to do it the other side, just as the drill, I have this in the back of his knee pit. My hand's still on his knee. I turn this knee down, and then I'm going to look to circle, and I can get into this position to ride the inside space. Now, if Kevin tries to react from here, it's very difficult for him to move. We'll be able to start looking at putting heavy pressure from a floating position, both controlling inside space, and start moving towards mount. You're going to feel like this is really difficult to do if your partner does the butterfly hooks wrong. If Kevin hooks above my knees, if I try and turn my knee in, look what happens. My knee drops past Kevin's leg. And so it's easy to do this and then go, well, this isn't working. But this butterfly hook is not correct. He is not controlling the end of the lever. He is sliding up my thigh. And we're going to be able to start looking at immediately redirecting this into the hip smash or the leg weave. So he hooks too high up on the thigh, recognize that, same thing. But if he slides up the thigh, we're immediately going to start looking at redirecting the hip, entering into the leg weave, or redirecting the hip and then smashing with our own hip.